Welcome back, dear listeners. TW and Nate here again, concluding our conversation about Nolan's filmography with The Odyssey. Listen as our brains melt and we talk about how this picture fares against his others and how it links thematically and so on. Enjoy, and spoilers ahead.
The reason why we're here now, as compared to any other time, is yes, at time of recording, this is one of only a couple of times we actually went together to the cinema.
The cinema.
Yeah, I went to the cinema and partook of this occasion.
Saw a talkie.
Yeah, saw a talkie. Had another one of our. Although it was a bit more awkward. This one we couldn't quite call this one. This wasn't a date this time because you actually brought your partner.
I did.
It was very awkward when I leant over her to say to you, "Is this a date?"
Yeah.
It made it very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I think I'm concerned that the myth of the flicks through time expanded universe is far more interesting than the reality. But
yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So we saw it only 2 days ago.
Yeah, Friday evening, 5:30 through to 9 o'clock.
And that was okay because it's a 3-hour movie with ads. It's more than 3 hours. We both said the same thing as we stood up. I sort of levered myself out of the chair.
Yeah, pried myself out of the chair.
Yeah, I sort of said, "What day is it?" And you said, "How long ago was the Cyclops?"
It feels like a week has passed. You've been in at least.
Yeah, and as I said, as we were getting our legs working, that's what an epic should do. You should feel like you've been on a journey, not just I've been sitting for a long time.
Yeah,
and it takes you on a journey.
Yeah.
So, I guess I would say, going into the Odyssey, I was expecting it to be good. I was thinking, why is he making the Odyssey of all things?
Yeah.
Because you've got the strength of a historical setting, but you've got this fantasy element, which he's never
gave
really
me
done.
pause.
Yes.
Going into this movie, my theory on Nolan was that he could make he was making two kinds of movies now. He was making his science fiction movies, which I actively dislike and will avoid, and he was making his historical dramas, which I adore. And I didn't know what this was going to be, because it is a historical drama with fantastical elements. And the marketing has very deliberately left out the fantastical elements.
Yeah.
So I wasn't sure whether they were going to be included. Yeah. I wanted them to be because they're the best parts of the story.
I figured they would, but I was wondering, is it going to be downplayed or whatnot? And it kind of is in a way.
And I was kind of like, the marketing for this movie is all the way bonkers. They are mismarketing this movie. They are marketing it as like, all these actors are together at last.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, like we've got Matt Damon. And
that is not why I was turned
that
up.
is not like, and that's not this movie. Like, if you're going to see, going to this movie to see John Bernthal's, like whatever, that's a shame. Don't do that.
Yeah, no, not at all. Can I just mention quickly, because I'm likely to forget?
Yeah.
Music.
Yeah, this is a Ludwig.
Yeah, Ludwig.
This is a classic Ludwig.
Göransson. I just realised he's the same age as me, almost to the day.
Oh.
So, a quick filmography of him for context. Creed 2, Black Panther 2.
Yeah, so he's a Ryan Coogler collaborator.
Yep, Sinners. And I remember, I bought the soundtrack for that. It is fantastic. A little film called Oppenheimer. By the way, also for The Mandalorian and Grogu.
The Mandalorian versus Groglet.
Yeah.
I love that.
Anyway, just park that for a second.
That's a real,
in the same year, you did the best and worst film, basically.
Yeah.
So, my thought, this was a real-time thought. I went, oh, that music, it was relatively early on. I'm going, this sounds like the score to Mandy. Certain parts of Mandy, the Nicolas Cage horror film. Yeah. And I'm going, wait, that composer's dead. It can't be him. But there was moments of just sort of eerie, creepy vibes and all the rest of it. And so, anyway, I bought that soundtrack too and love it. So my point is, the music was really striking. Just wanted to mention that. I thought it was particularly good.
No, the music was a standout. There's a lot of this movie that doesn't stand out to me.
Yes.
The music stands out, which I do not mean that to give anybody the impression I don't like the movie. I think this movie is incredible.
Yes.
The music is great. Read an interview after seeing the movie where Nolan and Ludwig talked about how Nolan did not want a traditional orchestra for this film because he didn't want it to be a traditional historical epic.
Yeah.
And so Ludwig wrote and composed using traditional Greek instruments to give it that kind of
that would explain
percussive quality.
Yes.
And the music is a standout of this movie.
It certainly is.
It's not the standout.
No.
The standout of this movie is the cinematography.
Yeah. And the fact this is correct me if I'm wrong, first film shot entirely on IMAX.
I think that's right.
So they had come up with new IMAX cameras because you can't do...
Which apparently... it works. The proof is in the pudding. The proof of the pudding is in the eating.
Yeah.
No, it's an incredible looking movie. The blues, blacks, and oranges in this movie are sumptuous, gorgeous. There are sequences in this movie that are some of the most beautiful. Like, I thought Project Hail Mary was going to be the best looking movie this year. No, the Odyssey runs laps around it. This is like such a movie looking movie.
Yeah, I'm gonna hold back on that until I see it again.
Yeah.
Cause so definitely very positive. Don't get me wrong, very very positive. Runs laps around. I'm not sure because I held the cinematography of Project Hail Mary very highly too.
I agree.
Perhaps for me they're a little closer.
Yeah.
So I don't know, splitting hairs. They're both very good. Is the point?
They are both very good. And I might come to regret saying runs laps around it. I'm just like,
yeah.
But there are, and I think as well, it's kind of, so much of this is shot under our own Earth's yellow sun.
Oh, what a refreshing experience.
Yeah, and so you are like, there's the Ithaca, and there's the ocean, and there's like black sand beaches, and all this sort of stuff.
And why something like, when you look at the sands of Arrakis on the Dune films, you go, that looks good, because they went to an actual freaking desert, and I'm so sick of, I'm done with green screen, I'm done with, use your computers to extend.
Yeah.
Don't build, like, Mandalorian and Blurdy Blur is the first Star Wars film shot entirely in LA, all on sound stages.
Yeah, that's garbage.
Oh, that's a promotional tool. Yeah.
You should be embarrassed.
Yeah, and, I'm reminded, we got to, tick the box, we've bagged out Star Wars movies. Yeah. But, when Force Awakens came out, the big promotional push was we're going back.
Yeah, we shot on set.
On sets.
Yeah.
Gee, they've lost their way. But I guess looking at time, we shouldn't delve into that too much.
But, let's keep talking about the Odyssey.
Okay. Having said that, you ready to go on a tangent?
Yeah.
I want to talk mythology.
Okay, yeah.
All right. When I was watching this film, actually, I think I hinted to you, I was, as we were leaving the cinema, I was too shell-shocked, but I said, I've got something to say about another intellectual property, but I'm going to save it.
Yeah.
Here it is. And not just because it was shot outside and looked like it, and you even had at least one of the actors from this franchise, but Dune. Yeah. So, the mythology of Dune.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to only talk about Dune in the context of feeding back into this because hopefully one day we have a good conversation about Dune separately.
Yes.
But I believe this will serve in the discussion of the film Odyssey.
Yeah.
So, quick background on Frank Herbert. He was a very learned man. He did a lot of reading. There's no secret that the Greek mythologies informed, at least in part, the writing of the Dune saga.
Yeah, fair. Very fair.
Even in the books, it refers to the Atreides their heritage is ancient Greece. Okay. So the Atreides bloodline goes back that far.
Yeah.
That's a deliberate reference.
Yeah.
If you look at the Dune saga of the 3 novels, keeping in mind that Dune Part 1 and Part 2 are only the first novel.
Yeah, so that's, if you're talking the 3 novels, that's Dune, Dune Messiah, and
Children of Dune.
Yeah,
it is a Greek epic in some ways.
Yeah.
Having read the things about 6 times, I was aware of this, and as I'm watching the Odyssey, I went, oh, now I get it. So I knew it, and I saw parts of it, but now I can really, I think, articulate and point to something. So, I'm going to say a couple things about Paul Atreides and Muad'Dib and the myth, and you'll go, oh yeah, I see what you're saying about the Odyssey.
Yeah.
the first novel, and therefore Dune Part 1 and Part 2 at the movies, it's about the building up it's the hero's journey, which of course goes back to ancient Greece storytelling. It's the hero's journey.
Yeah.
And the idea is that Dune Messiah, the second novel, is a deconstruction of the hero.
Yeah.
And it says, and Herbert was saying, we should not trust these men.
Yeah, if you give a man too much power.
Yes.
Yeah,
and if you ride on the coattails of mythology, you'll be crushed by it.
Yeah.
And the whirlwind, this is even using some of Herbert's words, the whirlwind will eventually, destroy you, basically. Yeah. Hence, he starts a jihad. The Fremen go throughout the galaxy and what billions. He refers to Hitler was a big deal, killing millions. This is in the book, not in the movies.
Yeah.
Killing millions, but you've killed billions. Yeah, well, at the time, millions was a big deal.
Yeah.
So he's ostensibly comparing himself to Hitler.
Mm-hmm.
This is our hero, by the way.
Yeah.
Compared to Hitler. He's comparing himself to Hitler. And he says, I can't stop this now. If I died, it would go on without me.
Yeah.
It's an interesting choice that at the end of Dune Part 2, that starts immediately.
Yeah.
So you have this holy war begins in the lead up to the credits. I'll leave the discussion on Dune there. But given that the Odyssey is new, I don't think we should spoil too much. But mentioning that is absolutely what the Odyssey is doing, with Odysseus himself saying, basically, what if the Odysseus from before is no longer?
Yeah, and I think. Yeah, that is where I went from, this movie's good, to, this is, like, Oppenheimer wasn't a fluke.
Yeah, absolutely.
He knows how to do this now, where our character has a revelation or delivers a revelation that changes the context of the rest of the film.
Yeah, and this is not a spoiler in the sense that this comes directly from... a poem which is several thousand years old.
Yeah. Oh, do we need to be careful about spoiling Homer's Odyssey?
Well, elements of it that pertain specifically to telling the story, but the broad brushstrokes, which are absolutely a part of the original narrative, is the idea that he comes back as a beggar, and this is ostensibly Odysseus, but where the film really drives home the point of he's no longer the same man. So, just as a quick aside, that as he's walking around in that hood, I'm going, oh yeah, that's the preacher from Children of Dune. And I'm going, well, there you go. There's some direct comparisons. Yeah, is the preacher more Dib? Even if it's physically him, does it matter? And so on. So the idea. So for example, one of the people from the sea. They keep, the people from the sea are coming to get us.
That's a good revelation as well.
And that was true, by that was a real historical. People of the time were going, who are these people from the sea? But the idea that that's linked to a collapse of civilization. I'm not sure how much of that comes from the original text.
No, and I think my understanding is that I don't think it does. It's kind of like a very obvious recontextualization of the Siege of Troy. It's like, that would ruin people's trust of each other. Yeah,
this was the end of an era.
Yeah.
And what I love at the end is when he says, he's basically saying, why aren't you writing this down? Because, of course, Homer didn't write the Odyssey. It was a very long poem, basically, and you would perform it.
Yeah.
You would... it'd be a one-man show. You would perform it.
Yeah.
And it was only written down later. And the response in the context of the film is, well, I'll paraphrase, but you can't write it down because civilization's collapsing.
Yeah.
Our words will survive through tales. And eventually someone will write it down.
People aren't going to be able to read it.
Yeah, but the idea that, which is a bit far-fetched, but the idea that at the time Odysseus is aware that his actions are bringing down the collapse of written language, as in civilization. Written language is a symptom of civilization, and civilization is collapsing, and therefore we can't trust the survival of our words.
Yeah, and I think that's,
which is a bit of a stretch, but it works thematically.
Yeah, it is. It's kind of like, not to put that finer point, because there's a lot of extrapolation that it's not delivered in the film. But Odysseus is kind of like, what have I done?
Yeah.
I have.
Yeah, am I the hero or the villain?
Yeah, I pretended to be, no spoilers for I'm not giving you a spoiler warning for like the Siege of Troy, guys. But I pretended to be an act of surrender, but dressed up as a horse to sneak in and then murder your people.
Yes.
That is a betrayal of trust.
Yeah, and the film is, you don't realize this till the end, but the film is basically him reconciling with that.
Yeah. What he did has kind of ruined civilization.
Yep.
He can't go home because he's ruined home.
Yeah.
This will come back to get him.
Yeah, and also he's no longer the same person.
Yeah, he has also seen the people of Troy were killed in their homes.
Yeah, exactly, and that's why when he's saying, when he's dressed up as I want to say the preacher now, get Frank Herbert out of my mind. When he comes in as the beggar, and he's basically saying, "No, I'm not Odysseus. I just worked with him." Yeah, he's kind of telling a truth. He is saying, "I'm no longer that man." It's
a good mature film. There's a theme and
quick question.
Yeah.
In rewatching, because again, is this a film that I'm clumsily, is it in the top category, we want to rewatch this, or is it just good the first time? So the ending's great, we can agree on that, and the linking up of those thematic points and the clues that it leads through the non-chronological storytelling.
Yeah.
Is the 2 hours leading up to that worth the rewatch? Does the rest of that film work? Does the Odyssey itself, that journey and the filmmaking work?
I think it does. There's things in this movie that I wouldn't say are bad, but I feel about them that they are opportunities wasted or they're decisions I find confounding. But there's a lot in this movie that I really appreciate.
Yeah.
The representation of magic and mythology is scary.
Yeah,
and that is a real achievement.
I lament that. And now I get this as a big budget horror film, big budget mainstream film, and I'm just a horror freak. But I kind of wish they'd made it scarier. Yeah. Like my favorite scene in the film was the sculptor sculpting them.
I agree completely. And Jess and I both said the same thing. That is a standout sequence. Amazing. He has never done anything like that in a film.
That
is so
body
upsetting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I said, maybe this is just me, but I thought they could have lent further into the horror of the Cyclops, where you see him slowly chewing at one of the soldiers. Yeah. I wanted to see more of that. Maybe that's just me, though.
Yeah, I think it was enough.
Fair enough.
And we don't want to peak too soon because we still got to. And then that was scary, and just the way he just crushed people.
Yeah, the fact that this is no big deal. And I can just do this.
Yeah, and the soldiers watching are just horrified.
Yeah, I didn't feel that horror enough. But I'm acknowledging, for a mainstream audience, it was probably fine.
Yeah.
But I am the horror weirdo. So when I watch the pig scene, I think of 1989 Society and go, ooh, I love it.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, maybe I'm just a weirdo, but it has definitely horrific elements.
Yeah.
And the strongest part of the film for me.
The giants are presented as very horrifying.
That was there, I would have loved to have seen gore. Mel Gibson's Braveheart has more battle gore in it than this film.
Yeah, it does.
You see people getting their legs chopped off. Yeah. And again, maybe I'm just being a bit overboard, but when you see, he had hundreds of soldiers at the start, and this is where he probably loses it the most.
2/3 of them, at least.
Yeah, because he does lose 2 of the ships.
Yeah.
And I would love to have seen, when you saw them get trapped and they realise they're trapped.
Yeah.
So not only are the giants stronger than them, but they're smarter than them.
Yeah.
I would love to have seen them just more blood guts, like the Cyclops moment where you just go, oh, what's happening to these poor men?
I think Nolan pretty wisely and deliberately focuses on the reactions from the people on the boat getting away, where they are so traumatized. Yeah, because this movie is about post-traumatic stress disorder.
Yeah, pretty much.
Not to put too fine a point on it, that's what this is. Is how can a soldier go home? Because the both of our favorite sequences Cersei says to her, these people are animals. The disguise is what they put back on to go home.
That's a nice little point. Put your disguises back on when she puts them back to human form.
They're not humans. They're animals. They're not ready to go back home.
Yeah, and that was, of course, the point, and that's why they can't return.
Yeah.
Because, the larger thing that does come from Homer is the idea that Odysseus was thumbing his nose at the gods.
Yeah.
And if you go back to, say, the miniseries from the 90s, I want to say, which is quite good, by the way, it leans more heavily, and he actually asks a god for help, and the god says, do this horse thing.
Yeah.
And when the horse is about to be revealed, a god makes sure that the horse works.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end, Odysseus says, I never needed your help, and that's why he gets stuck.
Yeah, right.
So that's much more direct. And I think I could be wrong, I think that's more from the text.
Yeah. Odysseus in the Homer's Odyssey is a lot more cunning, but also a lot more a bit of a braggart.
Yeah, and you should. He doesn't acknowledge
he insults the Cyclops as they're leaving, which is why Poseidon curses Odysseus.
Yeah.
Whereas in this instance, it was just like blinded the Cyclops and then fired an arrow at him. And
because he actually talks to the Cyclops in earlier versions.
Which I think this is a very, very good adaptation. The things that he leaves out are he's right to leave them out.
Yes.
And that he has found the thematic through line that will help this resonate with contemporary audiences is a stroke of genius.
It is, because on the one hand, the end is more or less about, as you say, you can't come home, and he caused this, and it's facing up to what you've done in war. Yeah, basically.
It is. I mean, I said it earlier. I think I said it. I can't remember. It's the ending of Oppenheimer again.
Yeah.
I have changed the world. How do I live with myself?
Yeah, you mentioned that at the beginning. Absolutely. So there's that. But then there's also the mythology, and he could have leant harder into Odysseus thumbing his nose at the gods. It's there, but it's not that's not the focus.
I appreciated that we feel the presence of the gods in this film. We never see them. Athena is represented on screen by Zendaya.
Yep.
But we find out through Odysseus's monologue at the end, that is just the face of a girl that got slaughtered in Troy, who Athena is appearing as. Because Athena was insulted. Athena's name was invoked to get the horse inside Troy, and so it was a false offering.
Yeah.
And so it is like it's in keeping with the spirit of the Odyssey as a text.
It is, and the series, from memory, the series did talk about sort of you can't go home after war to an extent, but it was more about you were so arrogant that you didn't acknowledge the gods, and you can only go home in the end because you reconcile with the gods. Yeah. So it was more about the mythology. I think that was it.
That's fine, but this is better.
Yeah, well, I think that made sense in the late 90s or whatever it was, and this makes sense now.
Yeah.
In the fact that we're very, very cynical about wars,
we're cynical about gods as well.
Yeah.
Like I think if that was presented to us as an audience, we'd be like, oh, he's delusional then. His imaginary friends won't let him go home. What is this?
Yeah. It wouldn't hold up, and I think because the other one lent more into the myth and the magic, so to speak. I mean, this is the time when Hercules and Xena are on television, right? Yeah. A little Sam Raimi connection. So people were happy with, let's see some of that stuff on there. And that was only the small screen, or big budget though, incidentally for a TV thing. Yeah. So no, I think the balance. Boy, what a lot of things to balance. In very different ways, like Oppenheimer. You can strip a lot of that out, and you can make this a 2-hour thing that focuses on this one thing. He's like, no, let's put all this stuff in.
Everything that is there needs to be there.
And it works. And the emotional connection was one of the better, for a Nolan film, one of the better ones. I wouldn't say it wasn't flawless.
No, I don't think Matt Damon is doing what Cillian Murphy did.
Yeah.
Cillian Murphy did for Oppenheimer. I don't think this is as standout a performance as that was.
Definitely not.
There are only 2 scenes where Odysseus really needs to carry the film. One is when he's lashed to the mast.
Yes.
And that's really, really well done.
That is very good.
Maybe the best line of dialogue in the film is when he's describing what the siren song sounds like.
Yeah.
And it's poetic, and he says, I could remember it the following morning, but it's something like, the greatest loss or something like it is.
Yeah, it's like giving you
something that you had and you lost and can never have again.
Yeah, it's like it's like mixing euphoria with loss and all this sort of stuff, and the thing you wanted you don't no longer want, and all this sort of stuff. It's like,
and it's beautiful and it's heartbreaking because like we've all been there where we took something for granted and it's gone and we can never get it back again.
Yeah.
And if we had known at the time, we would have appreciated
and he's
it
just distraught.
Yeah, he's broken.
He's absolutely broken at that point.
And then the second scene where Damon really needs to lift is when he's delivering the talking about why he can't come home.
Yeah.
Aside from that, it's just he's stoic.
He's pretty good.
He's good. I don't know who else you would get.
I don't know. I do wonder. I was not so much miscast. I wonder if there was maybe someone better, but it was fine.
He's great in those two bits where he needs to be. He's great.
That's a good way of putting it. Where he needed to work, he worked, and the rest of it is fine. Tom Holland.
I think Tom Holland's fine.
I think he will potentially mature into a great actor.
Yeah.
He needs to get away from these Spider-Man stuff.
Yeah. As I said to you jokingly, Tom Holland great in his first acting performance.
Yeah, I know. That's exactly it. And I love his comment that I know we talked about this off mic, but worth mentioning. His comment, he said basically, when you're playing Spider-Man, it's making movies like this. When you're with Nolan, it's making it like this, and it was pretty good. And when he was talking about Nolan, he was basically talking about how movies are made.
Yeah.
And it's the first time he's been in a movie.
Yeah, we have a script and then we film the script. And then he's like, but with Spider-Man, we have like these set pieces and they write the...
And he's describing not just corporate filmmaking, Disney corporate filmmaking.
It's like an assembly line product. It's blueprinted. And
it takes us back to the 20s where directors were... I mean, I think... This is accurate. I could be. There may be one or two exceptions, but it wasn't until the 1960s where the director on the marquee was a major draw card consistent. I mean, there was some like Hitchcock was famous before the 60s, before Psycho, for example.
Yeah.
So North by Northwest had his name on it, but it wasn't. It didn't become, dare I say, ubiquitous until the late 60s when you had New Wave Hollywood.
Yeah.
Up until that point, it was. The director was pretty low. They weren't second to actors. And they were down there with writers, and it was.
We've had a decade now where I think it has gone back the other way. The draw is the intellectual property. You're going to see a Marvel or you're going to see a Star Wars.
Yeah. So Universal. It's a Universal picture. Back in the 30s, it was the studio. I know Universal's great at this type of film. Warner Brothers is great at this type of film. And so on.
Yeah.
And so this parallels our conversation around prestige horror.
Yeah.
When my contention was something along the lines of the pre-COVID era reflects the 1960s when things were changing, and we're now seeing that wave of something like The Godfather and Jaws.
Yeah.
And we're getting some mainstream breakthroughs. And now I'm waiting for films like, for these young filmmakers, when are they going to make their Godfather Part 2 and Close Encounters and all this sort of stuff. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to that. So in parallel to that, you have people like Nolan who are very old world Hollywood, ironically, and isn't it refreshing that they're here? It's a very strange combination.
I think it's almost like they have survived this hostile environment for a decade, whereas like a lot of the old guard haven't. Spielberg hasn't.
No, I mean, functionally, Spielberg, Scorsese, and a few others can say, I want creative control and do these things, but they're no longer universally embraced.
They're not the draw card they used to be.
No, they're not part of that monoculture.
Disclosure Day has not gotten people to come out to see it because it's the new Spielberg movie.
No.
And I don't think, like I said to you earlier, Nolan can do it, Tarantino can do it. Who else?
I wonder if Denis Villeneuve is close to that.
I would like to think he is.
But he's got to prove it in something other than a franchise,
which
we won't see for
we
a while.
haven't seen Dune can do it. People will come out to see a Dune
and now
movie.
he's going to do a Bond, so that's... We'll see. We'll see. I suspect that he will be able to, but not quite at their level. If he can deliver his version of Oppenheimer and the Odyssey, if he can do those things, then I reckon he'll
Yeah.
So he's got the skill to do it.
Yeah.
But I've got to tell you, just as a quick little mention, a thought that struck me. Remember how we there's a little ball here. I'll quickly unravel as I talk.
Go.
Remember how we talked about Nolan was going to do the next Bond,
Yeah.
and we said actually he'd be a better fit than Villeneuve, who after June is going on to Bond.
Yeah.
After seeing this, I'm going. This is going to sound weird, and I can't unpick why now. We'll do it in a June conversation.
Yeah.
But broad brushstrokes, June Part 2 was great. June Part 1 was okay. He's a great filmmaker. That'll do for now.
Yeah.
I lament that we're not seeing a June version done by Nolan. After seeing the Odyssey,
Yeah, he'd be good at it.
and like I said, those parallels with the characters and
Yeah.
the mythology and the deconstruction of the mythological character
Yeah.
and his ability to carry an epic with magic, in the case of June, sci-fi magic,
Yeah.
whatever, because the spice gives you powers, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
I'm now rethinking. I would love to see Nolan do June. I mean, we don't live in that timeline.
Yeah.
So I've done a real flip on that, and
Yeah.
because I'm thinking Nolan would be able to handle Bond because whatever, it's spectacle
And I think-
and set piece driven. He wouldn't be able to handle June. Now I'm going. I reckon he would have done it better than Villeneuve.
Very possibly. I mean, I like the Villeneuve Dune movies a lot. I'm looking forward to Part 3. I wasn't beforehand.
Same.
So I don't want either of them to do Bond. Bond to me is such a poison chalice.
Yeah,
No,
I before the Odyssey, I would have said give it to Nolan.
Yeah.
Now I'm going, don't waste this man.
Yeah. I would rather see Denis Villeneuve. I think his best work is when he's doing science fiction.
Oh,
And
yes.
So I would like to see him do that more. But also, he's a very good visual storyteller. So long as whatever he's doing gives him the leeway to be visually
and
impressive.
sci-fi gives you that.
Yeah, I
elbow
don't think Bond does.
No,
but maybe
I kind of okay. Put it this way.
Yeah.
Him doing it has made me interested in Bond, which is remarkable because Bond is dead to me, not just because he, spoiler, died in the last movie.
Yeah.
I don't care. Spoil Bond.
Spoilers for that stupid.
I'm so anyway. Whatever. I'm completely done with Bond, and now I'm interested because he's involved.
Yeah.
That says a lot about how I think of his filmmaking. I mean, I don't want to give Apple any more money, but whatever.
Yeah.
So he is probably should get to wrapping up here, but if this goes beyond how long the Odyssey was, people are
going to be like, oh, how long ago was the Cyclops?
Filmmakers today that are drawing people in based on their name, as you alluded to before. So you had Coppola, Lucas, Spielberg in the late 70s.
Yeah.
Today, it is very obviously Nolan, and Tarantino still has it for different reasons.
Tarantino, I think he still has it. He just takes so long between films. When the next Tarantino film comes out, people will be there for it.
Yeah, absolutely. And for very different reasons, people are drawn to a Nolan film. And I think, like I said, Villeneuve has the capacity to be in that.
He could get there.
We'll see. We'll see if he gets there or not. Anyone else? I'm not thinking of any others.
Yeah, and I think
Robert Eggers, if you're into horror and that sort of stuff.
Yeah, that's
a bit more niche.
True. He has that.
People are going to see his films for his name.
Yeah,
but he's not as mainstream. As far as a small horror director, he is.
Yeah,
he's relatively in the mainstream.
To that end, Jordan Peele's probably there as well.
Oh yeah, true.
People will come out for a Jordan Peele.
That's true. That's true.
It's not getting the numbers that Tarantino like.
Their movies will never make $1 billion.
Yeah.
They'll never make Nolan money.
It gives, if we're talking about what we want to see Nolan do next, you said you'd like to see him do Dune.
Yeah.
And I think he would be good at a very grounded, epic science fiction story, like Dune. And I don't know if there's another one that has
probably not.
And so I would like to see him do a Western.
Oh, yeah.
Because as I said, the best thing about this film is the way it looks.
Yeah.
And so if we just get him out in nature and filming something big sky, harsh environments, all that sort of stuff, that would be incredible.
There's another thing Tarantino does too. Yeah. That's interesting. That those three we talk about all know how to. This is such a silly little flippant way of saying it, but they know what to do with the camera.
Yeah.
I mean, as in the context of go see this on the biggest screen you can.
Yeah.
They know how to deliver that even better than Eggers, when he's got the right cinematographer, does the horror equivalent of that.
Yeah.
Where you go, I want to see an Eggers film on the big screen.
Yeah. Guillermo del Toro can do it as well, but he's a mixed bag. So
that's
sometimes
true.
it's a bit like... Sometimes it's not what he's going for. Sometimes he's doing something a bit lighthearted, or... he's... Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Do you want to summarize Nolan... Do you want to do that clumsy 3-tier system?
Okay, let's do that. It's easy to do for me.
Okay. Well, do you want to go first? Because I'm not sure.
Okay, so let's go from... So we got 3 tiers. We got Poo Poo in the Garbage at the bottom. We've got It's Fine But I Don't Need to Re-See It. And it's Treasured Like a Sacred Baby.
Yeah, I want to insert this film into me somewhere.
Yeah. This is my new life now.
That's right. I want a shrine in my house.
Yeah. This is my identity now.
That's right, because that's a healthy thing to do.
Yeah. Okay, so I think this is my new identity now. The Odyssey, Oppenheimer, Dunkirk, and The Prestige. Those are his 4 best movies.
Okay.
The bottom tier is Tenet, Inception, and Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah. Go on, say it.
And then everything in the middle is in the middle.
Yeah.
So everything I left out is in the middle.
Yeah, that's going to be me. There's going to be a lot of things in the middle. So for me, at the top, definitely Dark Knight Rises.
Oh, yeah?
Well, we up to the third or fourth time I've triggered you.
Tell me more.
No, okay. So the top tier would be Oppenheimer, The Prestige, and Interstellar.
Yeah. You wouldn't put the Odyssey in there yet?
Not yet, almost certainly, but it's too fresh.
Yeah, okay.
So I'm just going to put it to the side. So I'll say it's probably at the top.
Okay.
At the bottom, not much.
Yeah, he's pretty...
I think Tenet.
Yeah, Tenet is very bad.
It's the only one that I think is egregiously bad.
Yeah.
I would contemplate putting Inception in there.
Yeah.
Only because I haven't rewatched it, but I know that I won't enjoy the rewatch.
Yeah.
Which therefore puts it in a pretty low esteem.
How do you rate a movie that you would not watch it?
I mean, there's enough good filmmaking in it that maybe I would. So that's a bit of a maybe, but I would only put Tenet at the bottom confidently.
Yeah.
And maybe Inception. The rest are in the middle, and I would just mention that The Dark Knight... the top. I put The Dark Knight at the top as well. Yeah, the Dark Knight is... The Dark Knight trilogy sits in the top echelon for me because it's a connected thing, and I want to see all 3 of them.
Yeah.
But The Dark Knight... the second film is the only one that is a true standout.
Yeah.
Although I definitely like Begins a great deal.
Yeah.
So... I'll reframe that. So the Dark Knight definitely. I want that in the collection.
Yeah.
I'd say that more confidently than the Odyssey for now.
Okay.
And Dunkirk doesn't quite make it, but Interstellar does. So bit of a flip there.
Different. Yeah, I don't know. As far as whether the Dark Knight is Treasure Like a Sacred Baby.
It does suffer from we've seen it in 40 other versions, as we said.
Yeah,
and that's not the film's fault.
That's not the film's fault,
but it's still there.
It was impressive at the time. It's still very impressive to this day. I think it's his first.
It holds up.
IMAX.
Yeah, it holds up well because it has that use of IMAX.
Yeah,
and that. You can definitely divide his career before and after IMAX. So visually, there's a connection in the so-called modern era of Nolan filmmaking.
Yeah.
And the fact that it doesn't use much CG, so it holds up very well.
Yeah.
There's a lot of practical effects in that.
Yeah.
Or will jump off an actual sort of building, but it is in a soundstage.
Yeah.
So you extend it to make it look bigger, but they are on a pretty big structure. It's not a real 50-story skyscraper, but they did jump 30, 50 feet or something. It visually holds up very, very well. It holds up better than most of the superhero films from the last 5 years.
And I think that's probably the problem is that I have superhero fatigue. And like I loved Superman last year, but I think that's unique to that film.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I have not been able to muster the enthusiasm to go see Supergirl.
Yep.
And yeah, I'm not. I'm out.
Yep.
And so that kind of works retroactively as well, I think.
That does work against the film, and again, none of that is the things that work against The Dark Knight have nothing to do with the film itself.
No, it's
the world around it.
Yeah.
But I'm confident enough to say that I would happily rewatch that, and probably by default it drags the other two along with it.
Well, I don't think. Sorry, I'm moving around the room, people.
You get a stereo experience.
Yeah, it's like the old tubular bells. I think that Dark Knight Rises doesn't need any help being dragged. In terms, I think that movie's legacy would be tarnished even if we weren't going through a period of severe superhero saturation. I think it would be seen as a lazy capstone to a trilogy.
Going to go for a disagree, but we'll save that for the Batman conversation.
Let's save that for another time.
All right, so I guess if we probably should have said this at the beginning, if you just wanted a quick summary of the Odyssey, really good, go see it. Yep. See it on the biggest screen you can.
See it in the most comfortable chair you can.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
3 hours. I didn't have to move around too much thanks to the recliner.
Yeah.
You will, I think, if you know Nolan and him well enough that you think I'm interested generally in Nolan, the worst thing you'll do with the Odyssey is you'll come out and put it in that middle category we just said.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's going to come out and be like, "Oh, that was bad."
Yeah,
because it's objectively not.
Agreed. And I said this to someone who wasn't even particularly aware of like who is Nolan. Someone who, and fair enough, not everyone pays attention to directors' names. To be fair,
can't all be nerds.
That's right. So when I said, "Oh, he did Oppenheimer and blah blah blah," oh yeah, right. And I said, "Look," they said, they're definitely going to see the Odyssey," and I said, "Look, his strike rate is such that the worst you'll do is say that was a well-made film that didn't really land for me." Yeah. That's the worst you'll get from him, based on the law of averages. So that's how I went into it, going that even if this doesn't land for me, I know I'm going to see a good film. Yeah. So that's how I'm going to say, I don't even know what his next film is, but I guarantee you that's going to be my feeling going in. Yeah. That's where he's at now.
My feeling is, like, the guy who made Oppenheimer and Dunkirk is the guy who made this.
Yes.
The guy who made Tenet, Inception, Interstellar, and Prestige, like, he didn't turn up.
No.
This is kind of like he's kind of a bit of a split personality director, and so like if you liked those movies, you'll like this. This is
even though it's in some ways wildly different.
It's different, but like
it's still recognizably
it looks the same. It feels the same.
Yeah, and isn't that great? And sort of reframing, if not repeating, that when you look at a Nolan film, it's Nolan, whereas you look at a Marvel superhero film and you just know it's a Marvel superhero film. You would tell me the directors' names, and I couldn't tell you from looking at any of those films, with maybe one or two exceptions. So we should celebrate the idea that we've got a successful film, and I predict this will hit the billion. I reckon this will be a very successful film.
Like before seeing the film, I read the ABC review, and it was pretty lukewarm on it. Mm-hmm. So overstuffed and which I disagree with.
Yeah, I do too. I don't think this will be the biggest film of the year because there's a few big movies.
Mario Galaxy movie.
Ugh.
I know, and we got Michael.
But even with Avengers Volume 26 or whatever it is, it will, I'm sure, underperform.
Yeah,
but that's only in relative to the Disney says at 2 billion we're happy and 1.5 we're probably not because we've overspent because we're idiots.
Yeah.
In that context, it'll underperform. It'll probably still beat Odyssey.
Yeah.
I hope it doesn't, but it probably will.
Yeah.
Dune Part 3 will do very well. So it's a pretty big year.
Yeah.
I still reckon it's going to hit the billion. I reckon it's going to do well.
I hope it does. I hope it ends up, like if it does as well as Project Hail Mary, I'll be happy with that.
Yeah.
And that's,
it's going to get a swag of nominations for the Oscars, whether it wins them or not. I don't know.
I don't think anybody in this should be getting a Best Actor or Best Supporting Actor or anything like that. But cinematography, director.
Yep.
Director, I think he'll win.
Probably. It'll be definitely a Best Picture nominee.
Yep.
Whether it deserves it or not remains to be seen. But it's a serious contender.
Yeah.
Who is the fellow that played the blind servant? I forget his name.
John Leguizamo.
Yeah, he was good. I reckon he'll get nominated for Best Supporting. He
was great in this.
He won't win it.
Yeah.
But he was fantastic.
When I say there's no standout, like there are, like his performance in this is great and very vulnerable. Samantha Morton as Cersei is incredible and a bit of a scene stealer. The only weak performance in the film, I think, is Charlize Theron.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, she was a bit of a.
And I think it's just that the use of Calypso, I don't understand. I don't understand what he's doing with it.
Yeah,
it's not bad. It's just not what I would do.
Yeah, it because it was really just so we can get some. It's an opportunity to hear more of the story.
Yeah, she's just an audience.
It was functional.
Yeah.
But it didn't quite stick the landing. And as we said, like people like Tom Holland were fine.
Yeah.
I found this is a weird note to end on, but I found his accent distracting. When I see films like this, I go, I get it. It's an American movie. There's American accents, but I want to hear like Russell Crowe's The Gladiator and that sort of thing where you go this very subdued American accent.
Yeah.
And all I could hear was Spider-Man talking.
Yeah, he's got an all shucks voice.
Yeah.
Because he's not American. That's an accent that he's putting on. He's British.
Yeah, which means you think it would make it easier then to do a subdued accent because you're not fighting your own. Anyway, so there were a couple of accents that were like, oh, that's a thick American accent. Yeah, that's a small gripe, but whatever.
Yeah, it is a good cast though. Everyone is doing a good job.
Correct.
Elliot Page is great. Only has a few bits to do, but they're very important.
They're structurally important, and talk about putting some heart into the film. That worked.
This is all in reaction to Elon Musk's garbage. Lupita Nyong'o is phenomenal as Helen of Troy. She is only in it for a little bit, but is very, very good. Everybody's good. John Bernthal's good.
Yeah, I don't know if there's... I'm trying to... Yeah, as you say, apart from... already mentioned, not a huge amount of standout ones, but they all did.
No, there's no...
They did better than they needed to.
Yeah, there's no obvious standout like there was with Oppenheimer.
Yeah, true. Okay, so I reckon you'll get nominations across the board.
Yeah.
And the film, and I reckon it'll definitely win a couple.
Yeah.
Clean sweep, I doubt it.
Yeah.
It'll make over $1 billion. There you go. There's my predictions. Predictions always age well.
Yep. Yeah, it's good movie.
Much like long stories from thousands of years ago. There we go. I tied that together.
Hey, that was good. That's good. Thematic cohesion. We love it.
Yeah. Oh, this... I did say it, didn't I? This will be our longest episode, and there we are.
I'm so ashamed.
I'm ashamed, but not surprised.
Yeah.
Well, my tongue stopped working, but thank you very much, Nate.
I'm in a stupor. Hey, you're welcome. Thank you for letting me do it again.
Movie's good.